I'm Sophie.
I'm Kodia.
Alright, so we'll go over the introduction, introduce you to the company, kind of what's going on. That goes into the company overview, situation analysis, SWOT analysis, the target customer, and then the digital marketing strategy. Alright, so Solas Teca is the only authentic Mexican restaurant in Marquette. There is La Catrina and Dia de los Tacos, which is their competition. We interviewed Juan, who was a employee. He is a nephew of one of the owners. Because there is a language barrier, we spoke to him and he's very knowledgeable of the company and will explain the transition of ownership from one side of the family to another. There were some rumors about health code issues. That's not true. It's just there was a transition recently. And because it is a family-owned company and they have more traditional views of how a company should be run, the elders in the company, the owners, are kind of more in tune to word-of-mouth advertising, where the younger generation of workers is wanting to push more of the digital advertising.
Okay, so going on to company overview, Solas Teca is an authentic Mexican restaurant located in Marquette. They opened in December of 2013. They also own La Catrina, which is also in Marquette, and they also are originally from North Carolina, where they also own a lot of locations down there. They are a family business, and the owners kind of have been rotating throughout the years. They just switched over to new owners this past August. So Solas Teca is really passionate about providing homemade, authentic Mexican food. And they have embraced the historical feel of the building. They've kept the brick walls, as well as the exposed ceiling, and this kind of creates a warm and cozy environment for their customers, as well as keeping original Marquette history. The family that owns it, their name is the Cardoso family, and they visited Marquette, and then they realized that there was a need for a Mexican restaurant in town. So like I said, they're originally from North Carolina, and so they own a lot of locations over there. They decided to open up some locations up here as well. Going on to their competition, as I mentioned before, La Catrina, it is owned by the same people that own Solas Teca. La Catrina has a more like modern, experimental type feel to their food, whereas Solas Teca has their like authentic Mexican food. Border Grill is another competitor in Marquette. They're kind of more of your fast food Mexican, and then Dia de los Tacos is the last one, which is a taco truck that kind of travels throughout Marquette. Going on to their financial situation. Their financial situation is pretty good. They do really well in the summer when tourism is high, but they also see a decrease in the winter, and they really rely on their profits made in the summer to kind of keep it going throughout the winter if they have to. Because of the transition, recent transition with the company, they have been kind of more focused on that transition and just getting everything kind of moved over to the new owners. They're really focusing on their marketing, either like locally or even online. Sorry, got to talk about macro environment. So there's just a couple of things that kind of go into their macro environment, including winters. Winters are harsh up here. So kind of that accessibility into the building can get a little rough. They are located on the second floor, so you either have to walk up the really steep hill or take an elevator up. That steep hill can get pretty icy, so sometimes it's not really accessible to people like with disabilities and things. There's also limited parking, as a couple other groups have mentioned, called paid parking, or people like walk down the streets, or you just can't find parking. Like I said, winters also affect consumer traffic, and as the temperatures decrease, so does the travel. And Seoul relies on the summer months for tourists to bring in that revenue, and the amount they make during the summer determines how much they will budget and save for the winter. Going on to situational analysis, Seoul Azteca mainly sees working class individuals between 45 and 55 years old for their demographics. They also rely on families who are visiting in the summer months as well. Their customers are mainly Marquette based, but they do range to like a central UP, like I said, tourists as well. The psychographics of their customers are more lively, outgoing individuals, and Seoul really caters to those people with their authentic Mexican food and culture. They also have loyal customers within the Marquette area. As I mentioned before, this is one of pretty much two authentic Mexican restaurants in the area. So locals really don't take that for granted. So they really love Seoul, and their loyalty is to Seoul.
Onto the SWOT analysis. Some of Seoul Azteca's greatest strengths is that it has wonderful homemade dishes, what was explained to us as, but they have tacos, fajitas, and more authentic dishes like that. Another strength they have is half off margaritas, which is their happy hour. And I went there after once. I went there to check it out, and there's an alarming amount of people that come there on weekdays. They don't show it on Friday or on Saturday, but they also have it on Sunday, with even more people there. Another strength they have is they have the best view of Lake Superior compared to any place in Marquette, besides when the burger bus is at Sunset Point, which happens very rarely. And they have many outstanding reviews online, but there's also a few bad ones in there. With that being said, this is also based on the old Seoul Azteca and not just off this new one that we are working with. Onto weaknesses. They have quite a few, like being said. There's in a brand new transitional state. So the biggest weakness, to put it simply, is their website. On their website, it says you can order online, but you can't. It says you can look up their menu prices, but you also can't do that either. You can leave a review that gets nothing done, like we did, all three of us. Another thing they have is, but the website does give you images of their food. That's the one positive to it. Another caveat is that they do not want to do online ordering, which makes it difficult for us to do pretty much a lot of anything online. They don't want to do it for some. One, they're in a transitional phase. They're still trying to figure out their debts, what's left over, stuff like that. A lot of things are still up in the air with this company because it practically is a new company just with an old name. Another weakness they have is, they're the hardest people to contact in the planet, hands down. If you call, you get a ringtone. You cannot order online. You cannot order over the phone. You have to go in person. When their mission is to get to takeout eventually. Not quite. And moving on to some of their opportunities. Yeah, I know that says great location, but it's a great location for opportunities because of Lower Harbor. Lower Harbor has so many events that increases the amount of foot traffic that goes to Seoul Azteca, which is what they're shooting for at this moment because it's the easiest there. There's no other online transactions or anything like that. Sorry about that. Another great opportunity is for Seoul to host their own events like Taco Tuesdays, Cinco de Mayo, and stuff like that. Anything that's authentically feeling or anything that goes around with that vibe would boost most of their stuff. Another thing we thought of, was to have a contest dish. Have people, when they're ready to go onto the online side of things, have everyone like make and compile what their favorite dish is and have a vote and see who does it. And then you're gonna be able to order it at the restaurant. This would also help them gauge their online presence because most of the people that go there do nothing online with their websites at all. Moving on to the threats. Some of the threats, as we all know, Michigan has some brutal winters, and especially up here in the UP. Their sales dropped dramatically in these months, but one way we talked to them about fixing it was to be doing takeout orders. But to do takeout orders, they have to have other things in place, which they are struggling to do at the moment. And I have the health code violation up there is because that was the rumor that went around saying that they were going to close their doors due to a health code violation. When in actuality, it was just them transferring one side of management to the other side of the family, which has been very difficult for them. Still is, honestly.
Alright, so obviously they have a lot of room for improvement, especially in the digital marketing aspect. So the first step is to hire a digital marketing team. That requires convincing the older population within the ownership. And then with that, obviously increasing their footprint on social media, increasing reviews from tourists, locals, stuff like that. I know like 21,000 people have checked in on Facebook, but there's only like 2,000 reviews online or something like that. So even increasing just having like 2 posts a week, including specials, the half off margaritas, stuff like that would create lots of traffic. Moving on. Target audience, Juan expressed to us that he normally sees people between 45 and 55 years old. These people have disposable income. They are coming in after work to get a drink, to get an entree, to have chips and salsa, hang out with their friends or their coworkers, family. Secondary audience would be college students of NMU. I know a lot of people go there for birthday parties or stuff like that. They come out and they sing, you put a sombrero on, get a dessert. And then with that, college students have more of a presence online. They will post these photos of these events and their food, and then that will bring in more people such as tourists or just people in the area that aren't sure about it. Alright, and then for the demographics of these people, like I just said, they're normally older. We're trying to go more into the younger side of things, make it more family friendly because of this cozy atmosphere they've created. The psychographics are more lively, social, outgoing people. Normally they have music playing pretty loud and it's kind of like, I don't know, a more lively atmosphere. It's normally bright with the sunshine, you can see the lake. Behavioral, people that like to go out for drinks, like good authentic Mexican food with homemade recipes. Geographic, in the Marquette area, tourists, people within the Upper Peninsula. And then we need to start out with a vision-based strategy because we can't do a real-time strategy when there is no vision in the